Welcome back, Elizabeth and Chris, to Oasis Song Stories. Chris, we're happy to have you back again. Today you're going to...
Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about your newer song called Together. Really cool song. I mean, Elizabeth, what did you think when you first heard it, Together? I remember Chris sent out an email with a recording on it. Yeah. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, I want to sing that song very soon.
It was really easy to pick up.
Yeah, really easy to pick up.
And then,
There seems to be a theme with my songs. Really simple. Yeah.
But even like toward the end, when you
any
just
child
sing
can
the
play
chorus over and over, like it's just really fun. Like there's just a lot of leeway for the spirit to move.
Right.
And I really like that about this song too.
Yeah. And the melody is really nice. Like there's something really singable about the melody, and it has a nice like pastoral feel to the whole thing, like which I really enjoy. Where were you when you wrote the song? Like physically, mentally?
I was sitting on my bed.
You were sitting on your bed.
I was.
So you were sitting in your room.
I was.
And just playing on the guitar.
Yeah, I guess some of the background of this will actually probably involve me explaining how my routine is on a normal Saturday evening, pre Sunday morning. Usually throughout the week, when I am preparing to preach, the preparation will begin on Sunday night after we just finish a Sunday morning worship service. I will go ahead and look at the next section of scripture that we're wanting to study, and I'll just go ahead and get that in my mind, get the story, the events, whatever it is that's taking place. And then throughout the week, I will just do random, historical background study and look up some words. If there are a couple words in the section of scripture that I don't understand, or something there's usually always something that I don't understand or something I want to comprehend better. And then just take a little bit of notes here and there, and then I'll eventually type the notes up Thursday or Friday and then read through those notes really in manuscript style. I never used to do that, but it's something that's been really helpful for me since I've been here, having another job throughout the day, not having the quality, the quantity of time. I think the quality of time is still really, really good. It's just different. I've learned how to arrange my life differently, and I like that. I love the way it is right now. But by the time I get to Saturday, I have read through those notes, and usually one more time before I go to sleep, I'll just lay on the bed, and I always have my some books and a notebook and my Bible and things right on my nightstand down by my bed, and I just lying there with those notes, just reading through them one more time. And as I started to read the notes, and I don't even remember where we were teaching through the book of Acts, and it had a lot of, all the messages had a lot of things to do with the church just being together, and I really believe that the Sunday that I was preparing for was, if I remember correctly, was the section in Acts chapter 6 where the disciples were having to deal with conflict, and it hit me in a very real way that there is just never going to be any perfection in the church at all. I mean, we're all just really messed up people, and we sin. We have sin just naturally, but we're redeemed by Christ. But still, that sin creeps in, and so there's just always going to be problems. But how do we face those? And I think that it was during a time which is still, a part of where we are at today while we're doing this recording, a time in our church where I think there was some momentum, where people were feeling like, okay, we have a little bit of a good understanding of where we're going, who we are. We've seen some growth in the church, and I know for me, as I was had been standing, down and singing the songs, whether I was down here on the front row or two, or back behind the stage, just worshiping there before I come out to preach, or no matter where I was in the back, it seemed like there were several Sundays in a row where there were a lot of people just really engaged in worship. A lot of people really engaged in singing, and it was so encouraging to me. And so I can't remember exactly why, but I felt like I needed to go get my guitar, and I went and got this thing out of the case, and I'm good at just playing two chords, so I stuck a capo on 4 and started playing a G and a C, which would be a B and a E, maybe. We'd have to ask Mr. Dodson, our musically inclined guy. But I started just singing some lines that made sense to me as I think about how the church interacts with one another. And most of the time, my favorite songs to sing in worship are songs that we would consider to be vertical songs, just like from my heart to God's, where it's just me singing to Him, and everything is a pronoun that involves you and your and you are holy, but it's always nice, I think, every now and then when we sing songs that have more of a horizontal feel, meaning that the pronouns involve you and us and we together. And I was just really feeling that sentiment that particular evening. And so I grabbed the guitar and started thinking about the ways Paul talks about with those who mourn we will mourn as well, with those who weep we will weep, with those who rejoice we'll rejoice. We had also gone through some times in our church during that particular time where people were dealing with some really serious sins and things like that, really serious issues, and feeling ashamed. And the line, for the one who's ashamed, we will be his grace, was really probably the most meaningful line to me when I actually wrote the song. So,
right. And that's a really cool line, I think, just we will be his grace. Because I think there are a lot of people who do struggle with their past or even their present, and struggles that they have in their present, and that sense that where can they go where they won't be pushed down or put down, and just that idea and that statement that we will be grace to people who need grace is a really cool thing. And I really like this song in terms of, you mentioned a lot of songs are vertical and some songs are kind of horizontal, and they're kind of for the people kind of songs. And I think for me that's one of the neatest things about this song, because I know, like, over the last several months, I've been walking through some things, and oftentimes, I'll think about the church as a context where you go to study scripture, or a context where you go to worship God. But one of the things that I hadn't been thinking about a lot is that church is family.
Right.
It's a community of people. And just when you sent out that clip of you just singing and playing that song, I remember just being like, this is a really neat song. Like, I'm not alone. I'm walking through life with people who care about me, who love me. We're in this together. What they're going through, I'll go through with them. What I go through, they'll go through with me. And I think there's something really comforting just about that aspect of the identity of the church. And so I know that's one of the reasons I love this song. Cool.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that I envisioned, and it sounds kind of corny to say it, to think about it, but I envision, a lot of songs are really personal. A lot of times in worship, it's a personal time, and there are even some lines that say, it's just you and me here now. Where you get that sense where it's just you and God. But as I sing this song, I just kind of always picture people putting their arms around each other and singing it together. Like, hey guys, we're in this together. And that's really the feel of it. The whole idea is to feel that way. That the way the verse is a little mellow, and then it builds in really strong in the chorus, that here we are in all times, in every circumstance, no matter what, we're going to walk through this together. I don't know, I think it's an apologetic for being part of a church, for church membership in a way, that this is a really important thing that you're a part of here, that you have people that no matter what, we're in this together.
Right. So. And I think also just the pastoral heart behind the song. Like I remember the first time I heard the song on the recording, it was really evident that this was something coming from your heart that was to be spoken to the church that you oversee. And
I can affirm that. I kept that. I just recorded that on my phone there, sitting on the edge of my bed there that night, and it's something that I made sure that I transferred over to my computer, because I noticed it when I listened to it as well. I thought to myself, there may never be we may record this song someday, but it's not going to sound the same. It's not going to feel the same. And I knew that when I was, believe it or not, I just, sometimes when you sit down to record something, you try it again, and then you mess up and you try it again. But that was all in one setting, and it was because of that. What you're saying is that there was a real pastoral feel to it. Yeah.
And I know in the original recording, there was a line that you kind of just spoke after a chorus. We haven't necessarily done in corporate setting, but just this kind of spoken word.
The church, we're in this
church,
together.
We're in this together.
Yeah.
And I remember when I heard that, just thinking like that. That's really neat.
Yeah, it
That's
kind of
the heart
became a
behind
prayer
this.
as I was singing it. Yeah.
It's really neat. So we would love to hear it. Would you be willing to play it for us?
Absolutely.
All righty, thank you.
Those who rejoice, we too will rejoice. With the one who is glad, we too will be glad. Together we seek, together we learn, together we lift His praise in all times. Every circumstance, good or bad, He's still the same. In our fear, in our joyful dance, we will exalt and sing His praise. With those who weep, we too will weep. For the one who's ashamed, we will be His grace. For together we walk, together we grow, together we lift His praise in all times. Every circumstance, good or bad, He's still the same. In our fear, in our joyful dance, we will exalt and sing His praise. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them all. He is near to the brokenhearted, and His eyes will see, His ears will hear, His heart will know exactly where you are in all times. Every circumstance, good or bad, He's still the same. In our fear, in our joyful dance, we will exalt and sing His praise. In all times, every circumstance, good or bad, He's still the same. In our fear,